Duh.
Hello guys, welcome back to the new video. So in this video I will be going to cover about the control flow statements in the Python. So we will be knowing about the different types of control flow statements in this video. So let's begin this video. So actually what is meant by control flow statements in Python? Means a program's control flow is the order in which the program's code executes. Means suppose I have a called 10 lines of code guys. So if I run that 10 lines of code, it will be going to evaluate as sequentially, that is one line, then second line, then third line, then fourth up to 10th line. So if the control flow of a Python program is regulated by conditional statements like loops and function calls. So in that 10 lines of code, if you use something called looping statements or function calls or conditional statements, then the flow of the program will be get disturbed. Means what is meant by disturb means the flow will be going to different. That is, if I execute fifth line, means suppose I have a looping statement at the fifth statement, and after that looping statement, if I mention something condition to execute, so that condition will be going to execute rather than sixth line. Okay, that is the main use of programs, I mean control flow statements. So in Python we have three types of control structures. Like first one is sequential, and second one that is selection, and third one that is repetition. So what is meant by sequential? And it is called as default mode. So let us know about the first one, that is sequential. So sequential statements are a set of statements whose execution process happens in a sequence. Let me show with an example. So guys, I am creating new file and I am saving on the desktop. Desktop on the in the Python course, and I am mentioning this as control flow statements, control flow, like this, and I am hitting enter. So now our file has been created. So we were discussing about the sequential, right? Suppose guys, I have a variable called something 23 and something other variable b something 24, and I am performing something addition c equal to a plus b. Okay, and I am printing the value of the c, and I am also in the print statement I am including other statement, that is the addition of a and b is like this guys. Okay, I'm putting comma. The addition of a and b. So you can see guys, we have something 4 lines of code in our this ideally. So what is meant by sequentially means, first of all our Python interpreter will be evaluating this statement. After that b equal to 24 will be evaluated. After that it will be going to perform addition, that is a plus b, and that result will be going to assign in the variable called c. Then after that this print statement will be executed. So this is the reason, means this is the actual thing comes under the sequential. So when I run this program, you can see something, the addition of a and b is 47. Okay, that is the thing I want to tell about the sequential statements. And the second point, it is telling that the problem with the sequential statements is that if the logic has broken in any one of the lines, then the complete source code will be break. So what it is mean, let me show. Suppose guys, I'm mentioning nothing, means I am assigning c equal to something ab, and I am not mentioning any operator in between. So when I run this, firstly it will be going to run this statement, there will be no error. After this it will be going to run this statement, there will be no error. After executing, I mean evaluating this statement, there is something operator missing, right? So Python will be going to show, I mean throw the error as like something, you can see something, it is telling that name ab is not defined. So it is throwing the error, and it is also not printing this statement. So the whole thing will be get disturbed whenever the logic breaks. So when I when I add something like this, you can see the program executed successfully. So this is the problem about the sequential statement. So if any problem occurs, the after the statement will be not be executed. So here we were getting problem, right? So here we will be getting error, and after that there is no statement will be executed after this line. So that is why our print statement will not be executed, because we have occurred an error at these statements. Okay, and coming to the second one. What is second one? Wait a minute. Yes, second one. that is selection or decision control statement. You can call selection control statements or else decision control statements. In Python, the selection statements are also known as decision control statements or branching statements. The selection statements allows a program to test several conditions and execute instruction based on which condition is true. Means guys, we have four types of selection or decision control statement, that is simple if, and if else, and nested if, and if else if else. Suppose I want to tell with an example. So I have a something, if I want to run a small piece of code if my condition is true. In that case, you can go for these control statements. So let us go with the first example, that is simple if. Okay. And before going to that, I want to tell you one thing about the Python, that is till now we have written only one line or two lines or three lines of code till now. So if now we are entering into the looping statements, right? So we need to write now something 5 or 6 more than 10 lines like that of code. So in that case, you must focus on the indentation. So what is meant by indentation? Indentation refers to the space at the beginning of a code line, where in other programming languages, the indentation in code is for readability only. The indentation in Python is very important. So guys, let me show that with an example. Yeah, firstly we will be going to see simple if we, in that only you will be getting understanding about the indentation also. So what is meant by simple if, guys? Simple if only consists of only if statement like this. You can see if, this is the syntax. That is if, and you will be presenting an condition. If the condition is true, this statement will be get executed. Okay, and this is the flowchart, because I represent here because you will be easily get understanding about, because visually it will be going to understand very easily. So it will be going to start, and if the statement and if statement will be get executed, if the condition is true, it will be going to it will be going to enter into the if, and the statements will be executed. And if it is false, it will be come out of the if loop, and it will be not executing these statements, and it will be going to end. So let me give that example also. Suppose guys, I have a variable a equal to 23 and another variable something called a equal to 24. So I am writing our first simple if statement. So you must use small I and if. Okay, like this. If and I am mentioning an condition. What is meant by condition? It will be going to result either true or false, like that. So I am mentioning some condition called a less than b, like this. I am mentioning a less than b. This is my condition, guys. After writing this condition, you must put an colon, because this is an looping statement, right? You must use colon, and after writing colon, you must hit enter. After hitting enter, you can see automatically my cursor going here like this. It will be ignoring this white space and coming to this one. So that is called as indentation. So when I hit enter, whatever you write code, it will be going to consider only in the if block only. Like in C or C++ or Java, you will be going to use something called like this, guys. So whatever you write in the parentheses, that code will be going to belong to the if statement only. So in Python, we will be not using like this something called curly braces or parentheses. Simply you will be going to use indentation. So automatically when I hit enter, it will be going to enter the cursor after ignoring some white spaces. Okay, so whatever you write behind this, that will be going to consider in the if statement only. So I am evaluating something expression, that is a less than b. So after executing that line, if the condition is true, it will be going to enter into the if block, that is print statement will be get executed. So I am writing here that something a is less than b, like this I am writing, guys. So whether a less than b, guys, a is, that is 23. 23 is of course less than 24, right? So this statement will be executed because this condition is true. So when I hit when I run this program, you can see a is less than b. It is showing the output. So something I want to change this print statement, I am writing like this, guys. So I am ignoring the white space and I am writing the like this. So when you hit enter and press F5 to run the program, you can see expected an indent block. It is throwing an error because it is telling that there is an expected and indented block, because this print statement is which I mean belonging to what part of the code. So when I hit enter, you can see something, the print statement as settled here. So that is why indentation is very important, guys. Don't ignore that, because if you ignore it will be going to throw error. So that is the use of indentation in the Python. And when I change something, this statement to a greater than b, so this statement is false, guys, because 23 is not greater than 24, right? That is why this is the false condition. So in the false condition, when you use simple if, then it will be going to do nothing, because you have mentioned only one print statement in the if block, right? So whenever your condition is true, then only this statement will be going to print. So this condition is now false, right? Then what will be going to do? Let us see. So it will be going to do nothing, because you have used only simple if, and if the condition is true, then only this statement will be going to execute. Okay, so when I change something a less than b, you can see now the statement is true, because a is of course less than b. That is why it will be going to print a is less than b, means the condition is true, that's why it is going to print this statement. Okay, that is the use of simple if. And coming to the next part, and you can see here syntax also. And coming to the next part, that is if else. In the previous case, guys, we have used only simple if, and here we are going to use if block and else block also. So what is let me give that example also. So I am mentioning that same example. If a less than b, I am printing the a is less than b. After that, I am using else statement. Else statement, as you can see, I have mentioned here syntax also like this: if condition and statement, else condition and statement. If the here if condition is true, then this statement will be going to execute, guys. And if this condition is false, automatically the cursor will be entering into the else block, and these statements will be getting to executed. So I am writing else, and I am also writing colon, and after hitting enter, automatically you can see again our cursor has entered into the else block, and it is going to ignore these white spaces. Okay, and I am writing here something: print a is greater than b, like this. Okay, I am mentioning a condition, that is a less than b. Whether 23 is less than 24, yes, of course it is true. That is why it will be going to execute this statement. If this condition is false, automatically the cursor will be ignoring this statement and coming to the else block, and this will be going to execute like this. So when I run this program, okay, wait a minute. So when I run this program, you can see a is less than b is printed, because our condition is true, guys. That is why it is going to print this statement. So when I reverse this case, that is a greater than b, because 23 is not greater than 24, right? So that's why this will be going to ignore this statement, and coming to the else block, it will be going to print this statement, that is a is greater than b. So when I run this, you can see a is greater than b is shown the output. So I want to tell you something. Yeah, this thing also. Wait a minute. Yeah, guys, you can see first of all, if else means it will be going to check condition like this. Our condition is here a greater than b. So a greater than b is true or false? Of course false. That is why it will be going to execute body of else like this. This will be going to execute. So if our condition is true, it will be automatically going into the body of if, and it will be going to end like this. You can also verify with the flowchart. And coming to the next one, yeah, next one is nested if else. Nested if else means and if statement consisting of another if statement inside the if. Okay, it is confusing, right? So I want to clear that also, and I want to check here whether a is greater than or equal to b. Something I am changing like this. I am initializing a equal to 23, guys, and another variable called b equal to 23 only, and I want to check that a greater than or equal to b. I want to check condition that a is either greater or equal to. I want to check if a is greater than or equal to b. I want to check another condition also in the if statement only, something like this: if a equal to b, and I want to see. Again I am writing an if statement, guys. See, inside if I am writing another if statement, and I am mentioning condition that if a is equal to b, I am mentioning this condition. I am putting colon. After hitting enter, you can see my cursor automatically jumping here it is ignoring this space, and after that it will be going to ignore this space also, and coming automatically my cursor coming to at this place, because these statements are belongings to this if statement. Like that it is going to tell me. So I am printing that if my statement is true, that is a equal to b, I am mentioning a is equal to b like this. Okay, and I am deleting this. Yeah, this is called as nested if else. Because why it is called as nested if else? Because I am consisting of one if and else, and inside one if I am considering another if statement. That is why it is called as nested if. So if my condition outer if is true, it will be going to enter into the inner if. If the inner if also is the condition is true, then this statement will be going to execute. So if the outer block statement is false, automatically it is going to enter into the else block. Okay, so when I run this program, so you can see firstly we will be going to evaluate. So I initialize a equal to 23, b equal to 23, right? So if a greater than or equal to b, means 23 is greater than or equal to b, means it is true, because 23 is equal to b, guys. Okay, and after that it will be going to check this condition, whether 23 is equal to 23. Yes, it is also true. So that is why it is going to execute this statement, that is a equal to b. So when I run this program, you can see a is equal to b, it is showing. Okay, and I am mentioning another else statement in the nested if also. I am mentioning another else. As you can see, I am mentioning else. See, before I have started if writing from here, guys. So I am also writing else from here only, and I am pressing I am writing another statement like a is not equal to b, and I am changing value something called 2. So 23 is greater than or equal to 2. Yes, automatically 23 is greater than and not equal to b, but our condition is greater than equal to, so it is true. So that's why it will be going to enter if block, that is outer if block. So it is coming here. So it will be going to execute these two statements. Before that we have mentioned here, guys, if a equal to b. So whether 23 is equal to 2, so it is false. That is why it is going to enter into this else, not this else. Okay, it will be going to enter into this else, because our cursor was entered into the inner outer if loop, it will be going to enter. That is why this else statement will be going to execute. So when I run this program, you can see a is not equal to b going to execute. So it is going to enter this state. It will be going to evaluate this condition, it will be going to evaluate as true. That is why it will be coming in inside. After that it will be going to check this. If it is false, then this will be going to execute. So something I am here writing something a less than equal to b. So it is false, guys. So that's why it will be not executing these two, and it will be directly coming to this else statement. So when I run this, you can see automatically a is greater than b. That is, our condition is false. That is why it is going to evaluate this condition. So that is the nested if else. And if you are not getting, you can see the flowchart also. By that you can easily understand. And here also I mentioned something syntax also for you. And coming to the next one, we have here called if, else if and else. So here it is syntax. If we will be presenting if and else if, else means if the condition is true in the if statement, then these statements are going to execute. And if this condition is false, then, and also you want to check another condition also, in that case you can go for the else if statements. Like let me show. Yeah, let me delete this. If a greater than b, I want to check. If a greater than b, I am printing something called a is greater than b. I am printing with if this condition is true, then it will be going to execute this condition, this statement. After writing this, I am using else if. How will we going to write else if? ELIF. Simply write ELIF and use colon. After hitting enter, you must specify an condition, right, in the else if. So I am mentioning that you want to, if I want to check whether a is equal to b or not. If it is equal to b, then I am printing both are equal, something both are equal, both are equal. If not, I'm checking, I'm directly writing else block, that is I'm writing print if it is less than a is less than b. So you can see guys, I'm initializing two variables, a equal to 23 and b equal to 2, and I'm checking condition that a is greater than b or not. If the condition is a greater than b true, then it will be going to execute this print statement, this print. So if it is false, then it will be going to enter into this one. What part? Else if part. Else if part also having the condition. It will be going to evaluate this condition also. If it is true, then only it will be going to execute this statement. So if it also, this condition is also false, then it will be going to evaluate at the last else statement. So these all things are false, right? So automatically else block will be going to execute. So when I run this program, you can see something a is greater than b is printed. Why this statement is printed? Because our 23 is greater than 2, right? So I want to change something this to 26. So when I run this program, you can see it is showing that a is less than b. A is less than b, it is showing because this statement is false, because 23 is not greater than 26. So this is false, means it will be not executing this statement and it will be going to enter into this block. That is whether 23 is equal to 26. No, that is why it will be going to not execute this statement. So finally we have present only last, that is else. That is why it will be going to show as a is less than b. So when I change something, this 26 variable to is called 23 like this. So when I run this program, you can see both are equal has been executed. So it is going to evaluate this statement, because our 23 value is not greater than 23, because it is a value called something 23 is equal to 23. So that is why it is going to evaluate this as false statement. That is why it will be not executing this, and it will be going to evaluate this statement. It will be going to evaluate as true. So that is why it will be going to execute this statement, and automatically it will be going to evaluate as true. So that's why it is going to execute this statement. So it will be going to ignore this else part. Okay, that is the main use of if else. Okay, and here I have mentioned the syntax, also flowchart also you can verify. And coming to the third one, that is repetition. A repetition statement is used to repeat a group of programming instructions. Suppose guys, you want to evaluate something 4 or 5 lines of code repeatedly, you want to check condition. In that case, you can go for this for loop or while loop. Okay, so what is meant by for and while? Let us check. So for loop, I have mentioned here flowchart, and here I have mentioned syntax, and here I have mentioned something description of that syntax only. So coming to the for loop. So for loop means it will be going to check first the condition. If the condition is true, it automatically going to execute conditional code. What you mentioned in the for loop, that will be going to evaluate when until the condition is true. So if the condition goes to the false, then only it will be coming out of the for loop. So what is the syntax of the for loop? For iterating variable in sequence. If this condition is true, then it will be going to evaluate statements. What is meant by iterator variable? Variable that takes each individual value of sequence in each iteration. What is meant by sequence? Data structures like list, string, tuple, like this. So I think it is not getting. So let me give example, you will be getting very easily. So I am taking a list called a equal to like this guys, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. I am initializing a list with 1 2 3 4 5 values. So I am using here something called for loop. So what is the syntax of for loop? As in the previous slide I was telling, we will be going to use something for, and I am using something iterator variable. You can use any variable. Here I am using something called I. You can use any variable. I am using here I. You can use something word also, and nothing will be happen. Here I am using simply for time being, I am using I. So for I, in, you must use in and a. What is a? Here our sequence. What type of sequence it is? List type of sequence. And you must put something called colon. After putting colon, you must enter, hit enter. Automatically you can see our cursor has been entered into the for block. And after executing for, after evaluating for loop statement, I want to print something I. What is meant by I? Let me show you. So guys, this is the actual syntax, and this is the example also. So I am using for keyword, and after that I. This is an variable in what in means in which sequence you want to print. I want to evaluate something A. What is a list? So I am checking that for I in A. For I in A means after you will be going to use for na. So it will be going to evaluate like, so first it will be going to take value 1 and it will be going to print 1. Why 1 only you are using I na? So that is why firstly it will be going to store in the variable I equal to 1. That is why I equal to 1 will be going to printed. I mean 1 value is going to printed. And after that and our cursor will be automatically going to the evaluate this statement. And that is I equal to 2 will be stored. Let me show with an practically. So guys, firstly for I in A means firstly it will be going to store I as I equal to 1. Why I equal to 1? Because our list present first element as I equal to 1 guys. So that is why I equal to 1 will be stored. So in the for loop you are writing print I. So what is the value of I? It will be going to print 1 like this. Okay, it will be going to print 1. It will be going to print 1. So after printing 1, automatically my cursor will be, that is I value will be going to increase. Increase means it will be going to move forward. Move forward means I equal to 1 was initially, right? So it will be going to now take as I equal to 2. Okay, like this. I equal to 2 will be going to assign like this. After that I am writing print statement guys. So print I. Now what is the value of the I? It will be going to print as 2. Okay. So like this I will be going to move forward around the list. Till what value? Till 5 value. After 5 is there any value present? So that is nothing now. So that is why it will be going to come out of the loop and print nothing. So when I execute this, you can see firstly I was 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. After 5 we have no values. That is why it will be going to do nothing and come out of the loop. So I want to mention another print statement, that is outside the for loop, outside for loop like this. And I want to print another statement before like this, entering something, entering into for loop like this. Okay, when I run this guys, you can see entering into for loop. Okay, it is entering into for loop. So what is the value of I? That is firstly was 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. And after executing 5, there are no element present in the list, that is A, and it will be going to come out of the for loop. So after the for loop we have mentioned one print statement, that is outside for loop. Okay, that is the use of the for loop. And okay, so this is the syntax, this is the flowchart, this is the description. You can go through it, you can verify it visually. And coming to the next one, that is while loop guys. It is also very similar to the for loop only. In for loop you will be going to use a variable, iterator variable. In this you are not using any iterator variable. You can simply use a condition, directly condition. So here it is syntax while condition. Till what time the condition is true, that time the statement will be going to execute. If the condition falls under the false case, then at that time the statement will be not executing. Here it is the flowchart. Means once the condition is true, it will going to evaluate while body, and it will going to iterate like this only. Till what time it will means it will be going to evaluate till it the result, that condition will be going to evaluate as true. So if the condition goes to the false, it will be coming out of the loop. So let me give that example also. Something I am commenting this. Yeah, now I am taking a variable called something I equal to 0 guys. I equal to 0 I am taking, and I am using something while loop. Simply you must use while like this, and after while you must specify and condition. So I am mentioning that is I less than 6 like this, I less than 6, and I am putting colon because it is a looping statement. That is why I am putting colon. After hitting enter, I want to print I value, and also I want to increase my I value also. Something I less than, I plus equal to 1. What is the statement gets means I equal to I plus 1. As in previous video, that is something called assignment operator. I was telling about this like this. What is this statement will be going to evaluate as I equal to I plus 1. Okay, and I am printing, guys, you can see I am printing, I am initializing an variable I equal to 0, and I am using while loop. If the I am mentioning condition also, that is I less than 6, until I less than 6, the print statement it will be evaluating these two statements. Okay, if the condition falls under a false case, it will be going to evaluate outside the while. So I am mentioning outside while statement also, you can see outside the while. Okay, so when I run this program, you can see, I want to explain first of all, after that I will be going to execute. So guys, this is my program. This is something called 4 lines or 5 lines of code. So I am initializing I equal to 0, and I am mentioning condition. So it I less than 6 means initially it was 0. So 0 less than 6, is it right or not? 0 is of course less than 6, so that's why it will going to enter into while loop. So it will be going to print I. What is the value of I? Initially 0 was there, and it will be going to print 0 here, and after that automatically I value has been increasing here, that is I am increasing I value. So it is going to print 0 like this. It is going to print 0 first. I am commenting this. See, it will be going to print 0 because I value was initially 0. After that it will be going to increase I value, something called I equal to I plus 1, right? I equal to 1, because 0 plus 1 is 1. So now after executing this statement, again our cursor will be going to check this condition once again. What is the value of I? 1. 1 less than 6, okay, it is also true. So that's why it will be going to print 1 again, and it will be going to increase I value. Initially it was 1, now it will be going to increase as 1 plus 1, that is 2, and it will also again check the condition. 2 less than 6, yes, it is also 2. That's why it will be going to enter into the while loop. It will be going to print 2, and automatically again I value going to increase, and I value was initially 2, that why it is going to increase by 1, that is 3 now. So like this it will be going to evaluate until this condition is true. So after once I value was 5, and it will be going to increase I value as 5 equal to 5 plus 1, that is 6. Is 6 less than 6, it is false. That's why it will be coming out of the loop, and it will be going to print this statement. So I want to execute right now. So you can see, yeah, something, okay, missed some condition. I plus equal to, sorry, I plus equal to 1. This is the small mistake. Yeah, when I run this program, you can see 0 has been printed. Initially it was 0, and then 1, and then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and I value was 6, and our program was 6 less than 6 means it is false condition. That is why it will be ignoring these two statements and coming to here. So that is why it will be going to print as outside the while. That is the use of the while statement. And these are some variants, guys. Means you can have while statement inside the while, or for inside for, like while inside for. These are some variations. So I don't want to tell these things because this take a very long time. So I will be in future videos, I will be going to explain each and everything very clearly. So for time being, you can understand simple what is meant by for, what is meant by while, and like that, if else, if also, like that. And coming to the next part, loop control statements. Means we will be presenting 3 statements like break, continue, pass. Means in the looping statements, that is in while or for loop, you will be going to choose these statements, that is break, continue, pass. What it is, let us see. So what is meant by break? The most common use for break is when some external condition is triggered requiring a hasty exit from a loop. Means suppose, let me give practical examples so that you can understand. Yeah, I am deleting this. Suppose I have a variable a only. I am taking something called intense programmer. See guys, I am initializing something a equal to something string called intense programmer, and I am taking for loop for I in a. For I in a means it will be going to take 1 by 1 value, single value from the a. Means it will be going to evaluate as I, then n, then t, then e, then s, like that, so on. So I am using this, and I am printing something I value. I want to show you the output. So I am hitting enter. You can see firstly it is I, then n, then t. Automatically our cursor is moving forward by 1 value. So I want to mention something condition called here. if statement. I am using for loop, I am using if statement in the for loop. Like if I equal to something like p, I am using break. So what it is, let me tell you. So guys, for I in a means it will be going to take each and every value from the I. So initially it will be going to take I only, because our statement consists of I. So whether I is equal to p means it is false. So that's why it will be not evaluating this statement. Simply it will be going to evaluate this statement. That is, it will be going to print first like something. Yeah, I want to show output here only. So it will be going to print I as an output. After it, after executing I, it will be going to, our cursor will be going to assign I equal to n. That is I equal to n. After that, n equal to p. Whether n is equal to p, it is also false. It will be not executing this statement, and it will be going to evaluate this statement. So it will be going to print as n. After that, you can see something t and e and n and s, e. Up to here it will be going to print like this. Intense, it will be going to print like this. I mean each and every value in the new line. And after that, our cursor will be moving something called p. Now here condition will be checking. P is equal to p. Yes, exactly, p is equal to p. Then only the it will be going to enter enter into the if block. So I mentioned in the if block something called break. So whenever I mention break statement, it will be going to break that loop and come out of the loop. Means it will be going to automatically come outside of the loop, and it will be not executing any statement after the break statement. So when I run this, you can see it is going to print intense. It is going to print intense. After intense, it is doing nothing, because I mentioned something called if this condition meets, then this condition will be going to execute, that is break. So you can see something I want to use another print statement here only after the break. After the break, it will be not going to execute this. As you can see, intense only printing, because it will be going to ignore after the break, because when you use break statement, it will be going to break the loop and it will be ignoring the all the statement present behind it, means before, after it. Okay, like this, the use of the break statement is like this. And if I do something, if I mention something t, means where the t present here na, so it will be going to ignore these all things. It will be going to print only in. If I want to check the output also, you can see in only it is going to print. Like this you can use break statement. And coming to the next, that is continue. What is meant by continue? The continue statement in Python returns the control to the beginning of the while or for loop. Means when I want to change this only, in the place of break I am writing simply continue. See what happens. I want to remove this also. See what happens, guys. Simply I am changing break keyword to the something called continue. So what is the thing happens, you can only see. You can see the output has been something long, that is in, e and c. It is ignoring t, guys. See in, and it is not printing t. So what it is happening, let me explain you. So for I in a means it will be going to take each and every value in the a, and after that it will be going to evaluate this statement. So whether I is equal to t means it is false, that is why it will be going to print I, and after that our value will be going to n. N is equal to t, so that is also false, that is why it will be going to evaluate this print statement. After that I am checking condition t is equal to t. Yes, automatically t is equal to t. That is why it will be going to execute this statement. That is, it will be coming under the if block, and it will be going to evaluate this statement, that is continue. What is meant by continue means whenever the continue will be going to use in the program, it will be bring cursor to the this point from starting. It will be going to shifting the cursor to the starting point, means it will be doing nothing. Just our cursor was here, it will be going to execute this continue statement. Automatically the cursor will be going to move like this to here. Okay, that is the main use. Simply it is going to do like this. I mentioned here the continue statement in Python returns the control to the beginning of the while or for loop. When the condition is true, then automatically our cursor will be going to go at the part where the program has been started, I mean where the while or for loop has been started. That is the main use of continue. Coming to the next part, that is pass. As the name suggests, pass means nothing. Suppose for I in A, I am using for loop only. I am writing something called simply like this, pass. You can see I am writing nothing. For I in A means it will be going to take one each and every value from the I A, that is I, then N, then T, like that, so on. So I am writing in for loop simply pass statement. So what is meant by pass means it will be going to do nothing. So when I run this program, you can see nothing has been printed as output. You can see, let me increase. Yeah, you can see there is nothing printed on the output screen. Means what is the use of pass statement means simply I can say that for if you have a program or something 100 lines and you have forgot to write something code and you don't remember that code, so in that case you can simply use pass statement, and if you get remember after some time, you can remove that pass statement and you can write the code there. Okay, so when I remove this pass statement, so when I run this program, you can encounter an error. So to avoid that error, you can use pass statement. In that case also you can use. So when I write pass, it will be not showing any error and the program has been executed successfully. In that case also you can use pass statement. Simply you can use pass statement like if for time being you want to execute the statements, after that you want to write something code, you can use in that case also. So coming to the next one. So till now we have completed if loop, I mean if else, like that, while also, for loop also, and so that's all about this video guys. We have completed this Python control flow statement. So we will be going to meet in next video, and I will be coming back with the new video, and stay tuned for more videos guys, and thank you, see you.